Differentiations has been a key issue within history to present. The poster created symbolizes the segregation the black race faced over time in America that led to almost a decade-long struggle by the African American to end legalized racial discrimination, disenfranchisement, and racial segregation within the United States, which made an impact globally. The voices of the discriminated race made history as rights were granted to the black community as they succeeded the Civil Rights Movement Act in 1964 and ended the white American and granted rights to the African American race. The poster created for the history curriculum identifies Martin Luther King, who characterizes the insufficiency of both essentialism and constructivism regarding the process of identity formation. Therefore, the poster will bring a better understanding to the Australian national curriculum as a capability to promote across various topics and able to educate multicultural education, as the poster will help make a better understanding of racial segregation once a student gains a better understanding of the civil rights movement and the white America. Multicultural education is an umbrella term that within Australia it refers to a range of programs in school which is designed to meet the needs of migrants and refugee students and their families, promoting intercultural understanding across the curriculum. Marxism has strengthened, re-envisioned, and infused with insights from recent scholarships in feminism, critical pedagogy, cultural historical and critical race theories, and new materialism, among others, and can offer a new worldview in which political imagination and other phenomena of human subjectivity. Marxism is a system of political thinking which will explain the changes in history as a result of the struggle between social classes. Therefore, the poster provided will educate students on identifying class on the basis of power in society, as the blacks face enormous discrimination within the white American days. Moreover, by educating the students with Marxism theoretical framework, symbolic interactionalism may be implied to the poster. Symbolic interactionalism builds on three relatively simple assumptions, which are: people strive and act towards what represents meaning for them, meaning arises out of the social interaction, and meaning is being dealt with and modified through interpretive processes. Nevertheless, it also demonstrates a social construct issue. Symbolic interactionism is defined by people acting together in social groups, demonstrated by Tupac, who describes "Here is a ghetto in heaven" and its black power, where we can see how the racial differentiation is portrayed within social groups as the artist uses the issue in their lyrics. Therefore, it was included at the bottom of the poster. Critical race theory and interrogation of invisible historical and social constructions of whiteness draws on the post-colonial theory and culture studies that focuses on relationships which exist between race, racism, and power. Therefore, within the poster created for the history curriculum, it can be educated to the students that the black race in the 19th century faced racism, in particular from powered positions such as the American government, who refused to grant rights to the racial group, which led to voices being spoken out that granted them civil rights as equal to white people. Marx's attempts to reveal the way in which the school system expresses the strengthens dominant relationships between social classes, which means positions in the system of productions based on a monetary economy. Nevertheless, as education reproduces class relations, the poster will help students shape ideas on society and their emotions, where it will allow the students to accept society as it is the racial issue, which is demonstrated through competition and viewing society as an inequality structure. Education does not only promote the acceptance of inequality, education also prepares the student to view the world as inequality overtaking daily norms, and to make changes through voice could be echoed globally. Moreover, symbolic interaction concepts are used to explain the use of private-public partnership to achieve both symbolic and functional ends. In contrast, as school plays a virtual role in the way the cohort face reality and themselves during schooling, as it is imperative to promote change within schooling, preaching, and teaching quality, either in gender, sex, or race. It is important that students understand labeling may affect individuals in the long run because students who are labeled with certain stigma may never be able to see themselves as good students and move beyond these labels. In terms of critical race theory and its implications on education, it is also imperative as educators to examine how race and ethnicity can be implicit in unequal power relationships between the teacher and the student. For example, examining normalized practices of privileged white teachers who teach students unlike themselves. The concept of discourse, power, and subjectivity offer useful tools for examining how racial identifiers are not only constructed within social categories of identity, but are also subjected to broader contextual realities formed through the student's relationship, which is then taken for granted of the assumptions within the global sphere. Therefore, power plays a vital role within education, especially teaching students equality. Considering students have no power and must follow the orders of the teachers here, a professional quality teacher may make a difference on how an individual may view racial differences. However, even though teachers may have the power within the classroom, a teacher has its limits as they may not like what is going on but feel like they are unable to make changes in certain areas. Power by an authoritarian regime increasing its ability to punish opposition politicians can lead citizens not to vote opposition parties out of office even after seeing them fail to prevent a consolidation of power. The American flag on this poster, as you can see, it's upside down. Create for the history faculty is seen here a failure from power and a rise of a new era. This will demonstrate to students that the government who is in power may fall if citizens' voices are spoken. The end of the white American and the beginning of a mixed racial color America emerges as the Civil Rights Act legislation comes into power and changes the whole world forever as the blacks get equal rights as the whites.